back their service with a coverage guarantee. Their 100% US-based customer service team will find...
Hey, welcome in. About ready to kick off a Friday edition of the Bruce Hooley Show. Glad to have you along. And we're in commercial, just about ready to come out of commercial. And as soon as we do, we'll be off and running. So appreciate your time and attention. Look forward to having the robust audience that we've had the past 2 days. So just a little bit of a pause here. We're just about ready to play the intro music. And when we do, we'll be on our way. And there it is. Here we go. Welcome in, Friday edition Bruce Hooley Show. Donald Trump not kidding around when he promised to shake up Washington, D.C. in his second term. Were he given one by the American people? He was given one, and Tulsi Gabbard, R.F. Kennedy Jr., more than window dressing, it appears, as both have been given high positions in the Trump administration, if they can get confirmed. Not sure Tulsi Gabbard needs to be confirmed. Maybe she does, Director of National Intelligence. But Donald Trump picking Robert F. Kennedy Jr. yesterday as his Secretary of Health and Human Services. That's a controversial pick. So was the pick of Matt Gaetz as Attorney General. So was, and pretty much defines it now, because in relation to Kennedy, Gabbard, and Gaetz, Pete Hegseth, Trump's pick for Secretary of Defense, now looks like a down-the-middle choice, almost Marco Rubio-esque, who is Trump's Secretary of State pick. But we will get into all of that. Elon Musk foreshadows how he views government waste, and it is delicious, since Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy will head up the Department of Government. What does the E stand for? Efficiency, Department of Government Efficiency. I was going to say the Department of Government Extravagance. But we already have people staffing that, unofficial though it may be. But we start today, I guess, with an apology, because for the last 2 days, we've talked about the internal memo from Monica Asher, the principal at Olentangy Orange High School, who is now on leave because of the memo she sent out on Sunday, expressing angst, or at least speaking to what she perceived to be the angst in the Orange High School student body and faculty over the election results. And she has been placed on administrative leave during a school investigation. And many of you have weighed in, fire her. She's got no place here. It has no place in education. But it looks like we all got it wrong, because one of our intellectual betters, the Angry Bobcat from the Columbus Dispatch, Amelia Robinson, and then others of you who have reached out to me on social media, have said that she did nothing wrong. She did nothing wrong. That, in fact, the problem lies with us, who are reading in between the lines of her memo to the staff, seeing something that is not there. That she was simply being kind, being compassionate, being sensitive, being inclusive to all the people in her district who might be distraught. And it has been pointed out to me that Monica Asher herself never said that she voted against Donald Trump, which, you know, only 40-some% of the people in Delaware County did, between 44 and 46%. So Trump carried Delaware County. But there are teachers at Orange High School, I presume, otherwise there would probably not have been a memo, who are distraught and upset over this. Now, I want to be fair. I definitely want to be fair. But the controversy over Monica Asher, if you are going to parse it out according to what she wrote to her staff, is really not the issue at hand. You know, a lot of you don't like what she wrote. I don't like what she wrote. And in no universe do I believe she would have written a similar memo if Kamala Harris won the presidential election. There is no chance in my mind, don't know the woman, but I'm just going to say, I don't believe she would have written this memo if Kamala Harris had won the election and Monica Asher would have had this deep personal concern for the faculty members and students at Orange who were distraught over Kamala Harris's election as the 47th president. But that's speculative, and speculation is not fair. So let me just explain why I think that the angry bobcat at the Dispatch is always consistently wrong and is maintaining her 100% record of being wrong in this particular case. She says that Monica Asher led with compassion. She did not slam anyone who voted for Trump, and that all Monica Asher was trying to express was that students should feel safe in school no matter what, that diversity should be celebrated, that compassion and respect are good things, and that we should strive to see humanity, dignity, and worth in every person that we meet. And Amelia Robinson at the Dispatch concludes, the controversy around Monica Asher's innocuous message speaks volumes about the sad place we find ourselves at as a nation, should be in. Her views were written after Trump's victory, but are not liberal or conservative. I think they are American values. I don't want to be wrong. Well, sorry, you are wrong, because the issue here is not what Monica Asher wrote. And if you don't remember what Monica Asher wrote, let me just refresh your memory. She says, I've struggled this week to find the right words. I can't write a message that pretends the election didn't happen, especially when so many of you are struggling with how to move forward. I know you are struggling with how to move forward with your students who are afraid, but also how to move forward with colleagues that don't share your views. And she talks about all the pain she's seen and how, I recognize leadership is tested during tough times. Anyone can lead when it's easy. I grew up not wanting to be just anyone. I grew up wanting to be someone who makes a difference. Okay, so she didn't say that she's not a Trump voter in there. But here is why all of that is irrelevant. If you are a school administrator, if you are a school teacher, if you are a school staff member, there's one thing that first and foremost decide whether you should continue in that role. And what decides whether you should continue in that role is whether you are following school policy, whether you are following orders. All of us have bosses, and we are to follow those bosses. And if you don't follow those bosses, you are subject to corrective action, which in this case for Monica Asher includes administrative leave. And in which case, we don't know where it's going to lead. There are some who think she will be fired. I think you're living in a fantasy world. I think what is more likely to happen is she will get a winky commendation, a few days off, and likely a hug. Secretive, but likely a hug. And a thumbs up of approval from the decidedly woke Olentangy School District School Board. She should get fired. She should. And the reason why she should get fired is not because her words are pro-Trump, pro-Harris, anti-Trump, anti-Harris. The reason why she should get fired is because she violated in an egregious way school policy. Let me refresh your memory. Amelia Robinson doesn't mention this. Cole Behrens, who writes the news story in the Columbus Dispatch, doesn't mention this. Nobody else who's reported on this story has mentioned this. But this is the issue that should decide her fate. In the summertime, as I mentioned to you yesterday, which there's no excuse for media outlets not to report this because it's been out there in the public domain via this show for at least 24 hours. In the summertime, or in the advance of the election, I don't know if it was it had to be summer because we just had the start of fall. We're now transitioning toward winter. Todd Meyer, the superintendent at Olentangy Schools, sent the following memo to Dear Olentangy Schools staff. Does that include Monica Asher? Yes, it does. Here's the memo. Free speech is one of our nation's core values. With the presidential election just a few months away, it is important for all Olentangy Schools staff to understand our policy and guidelines, which are designed to prevent individual political views and activities from negatively impacting an employer's professional responsibilities. Laws, court opinions, and board policies require Olentangy schools and all staff to maintain neutrality in our schools and classrooms on political campaigns and issues. This means employees, while acting in their official capacity with the district, are prohibited from political activity at school or work-related activities. Now, this is where Amelia Robinson and Monica Asher's supporters are going to try to say she didn't do that. She didn't take a position that was not neutral. No, but she took a position that spoke to politics. And this memo says, do not speak to politics in any way, shape, or form, tangentially or directly. Do not speak to it. And why would Todd Meyer have issued this policy? Because the business of Olentangy schools is education. It is not indoctrination. It is not politicization. It is not what Monica Asher made it. And his memo says, we recognize the presidential election and other current events may surface in classroom discussions. Did it in the case of our memo? No. Pursuant to board policies, controversial topics must be addressed impartially and objectively. Olentangy schools and its employees must never use discussions at school to support or endorse a political candidate, party, or ballot issue. They'll say she didn't do that. They want us to expect the best of them. They have long since abdicated the privilege of our trust.
Sunny skies for this afternoon. The high today 55. Partly cloudy tonight, low 43. Periods of clouds and sun for tomorrow. The high 55. Sunny clouds for Sunday. The high at 61. It'll be mild Monday. Sunny clouds for the morning, followed by some breaks of sun throughout the afternoon. The high at 62. Cloudy, mild with a couple of showers on Tuesday. High Tuesday afternoon at 64. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
This is Josh Fick with the Aptus Blueprint Radio Show. The thing that I hear most often in meetings is, what do I do when it seems like stocks and bonds are getting crushed, rates at the bank are abysmal, and inflation is at 40-year highs? Well, you're not alone, and there are better options. But you know that you can lock in darn near double-digit returns in a positive market while simultaneously accepting zero downside risk. Learn more about ideas like this and many other ways to improve your financial situation by listening to the Aptus Retirement Blueprint Radio Show Friday evenings at 6, Saturday afternoons at noon, or call our office today at 614-917-1040.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions and you will destroy your life. Listen to The Flock Line with your host Rick Hughes every Sunday morning at 8 here on 98.9 FM The Answer. The Flock Line describes a main line of resistance in your soul built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, education, all without manipulation. That's The Flock Line with Rick Hughes, Sunday mornings at 8, right here on 98.9 FM The Answer.
Attention patriots and all who love freedom. Are you ready to embark on an unforgettable adventure? Journey with me, Larry Elder, along with Mike Gallagher, Dennis Prager, and special guests Jennifer Horn and Joe Piscopo on the Patriot Alaska Cruise in August 2025. This experience is more than a vacation. It's a chance to participate in profound discussions and spirited debate with like-minded patriots. 7 action-packed days surrounded by the wonder and majesty of Alaska's rustic landscape. Gain profound insights as you're immersed in the splendor of glaciers and fjords. And right now is a great time to buy a cruise as a holiday gift. You must book through us to have access to all our events, so don't wait. Visit travelwithsalem.com. Visit travelwithsalem.com. Mark your calendars August 16th through August 23rd, 2025. Secure your spot on this once-in-a-lifetime adventure by calling 855-565-5519 or book online at travelwithsalem.com. That's travelwithsalem.com.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people, obviously. But what's more, MediShare members like it. Their satisfaction rate is 98%. Imagine that. And MediShare is a proven thing, too, for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing. If you join before November 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. You save even more right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is November 15th. So call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number, 844-94-BIBLE. That's 844-94-BIBLE. 844-94-BIBLE.
This is a police officer's family, happily getting ready for work and school. Sadly, some police officers don't make it home because motorists don't move over for emergency vehicles on the shoulder.
I'm Ohio Fraternal Order Police President Jay McDonald. There are too many injuries and even deaths because drivers don't move over. When you see a stopped emergency vehicle, please move over.
Visit fopohio.org/moveover for more information and use hashtag MoveOver on social media to join us. This is a public service of the Ohio Fraternal Order of Police and this station.
MyPillow.com. I could not sleep without mine when it goes missing. Boy, oh boy. I have great kids, but you know, sometimes when the wife does the laundry and the pillowcases come off, oh, I'm just saying, my pillow gets misplaced. And then I have to go search for it because I can't sleep on any pillow but that. The others are, like the porridge. Too soft, too firm, too something. My pillow just perfect. I've gotten used to it for 8 years. You'll love yours. You'll really love the price. A standard My Pillow under $15. A king or queen is under $20. That's ridiculous. Symbolic of the savings at MyPillow.com. Take advantage of the big box store that foolishly canceled a large order with Mike Lindell and the My Pillow family. They have a surplus of all sorts of products, and they are selling them to you at clearance prices, including on the pillows, mattress toppers, slipper slides, towel sets, and more. You won't know how much you can save until you go to mypillow.com and use my promo code Bruce. So Donald Trump is, he's pushing the envelope on his cabinet picks, which we will get to. Some of the more controversial ones. The Matt Gaetz pick for Attorney General, clear. Trump wants to go in and have somebody take a sledgehammer to the Department of Justice. It needs to have a sledgehammer taken to it. The question will be, can Matt Gaetz get enough support on Capitol Hill to be the guy wielding that sledge? Robert F. Kennedy, I thought it'd be an advisory position. The danger that I see in Trump's cabinet picks are that you don't want to spend a bunch of time hung up in hearings. You have momentum. You want to maintain momentum. But would RFK be happy if he had a position where he didn't have cabinet level authority? I would think there'd be a way to manage that. If you're Donald Trump, couldn't you give him or find an HHS secretary who could get confirmed but would be like-minded with RFK? And RFK, here's the thing with RFK. It's very easy to focus on the crazy stuff RFK says and the crazy things that have happened to him. It's very easy to get hung up on the fact that, you'll notice, here's the thing. You'll notice none of the objection to RFK Jr. is about how he has horribly treated women over the course of his life. Well documented how horribly he has treated women. His wife, his ex-wife, not his current wife, his ex-wife. His immorality, horrible. You don't hear a single Democrat complaining about that, right? Because they have other things that offend them more, So this is interesting in light of the mindset that is demonstrated frequently on the left, which is we get to pick on anything you've ever done to prove that you are disqualified from serving in the role that, in this case, Donald Trump wants him to serve in the cabinet. But whenever we step out of line on the left, you have to give us the benefit of the doubt on everything. You have to give us the benefit of the doubt on everything. And never did this become more clear to me than while I was researching the Columbus Dispatch's crazy, angry Bobcat editorial page writer Amelia Robinson's column on Monica Asher at Olentangy Schools. I came across this other survey, which is humorous on many levels, starting with the fact that how bad must the circulation at the Dispatch be that Amelia Robinson, the head of the editorial page, put out a survey. What do you think? How many people responded to it? You think 300? 300? The circulation of that newspaper used to be in the hundreds of thousands. Does it tell you anything? Yes. That a survey from the editorial page, how many people are reading their editorial page? What kind of influence do you have, Amelia Robinson, when only 300 people in a town entirely controlled by Democrats, where your entire editorial page appeals to no one but a Democrat, only 300 respond to your survey, but oh wait, it gets better. The question she wanted to know was whether it's possible to maintain friendships with Trump voters in the aftermath of Trump being elected. And she delineates what some of the people who responded to this survey say. And boy, is there a giant difference between Democrats and the few Republicans who read it. On the no side, all Democrats, human and civil rights are non-negotiable. I can't be friends with someone who supports someone as vile as Trump. They are comfortable with policies that would destroy me and people I love. On and on and on. Here, this is not just a matter of conservatives versus liberal ideas anymore. It's about morality, ethics, and rule of law. Republicans have made it resoundingly clear that money and power is far more important. This is a Democrat. Excuse me? Morality? Democrats are playing the morality card? Ethics? You're playing the ethics card? Rule of law? Hunter Biden ignoring Supreme Court rulings? Like, it's just laughable. Now, what's really instructive is when you get to the section where she quotes people who said, yeah, of course it's possible to still be friends with someone who voted differently than me. 4 of the 6 comments come from Republicans. 1 comes from an independent. And the one from a Democrat is a shot at Republicans. What is their basis of the one Democrat who said, yeah, I can still be friends with Trump voters? The reason is, unlike Republicans, I am tolerant of other people's opinions. So it's like, yeah, I'm tolerant, but you're not. So they're still dunking on you, okay? The Republicans bring the sanity to her survey responses. Friends, family, relationships, community, and overall humanity toward one another transcends politics. Very true. Another Republican wrote, my relationships are not so shallow as to be dependent upon political choices. Another says, I don't discuss politics or religion with them. There are too many other things that are good with friends to ruin it over those 2 things. So again, they can't deal with the fact that other people have different opinions than them. They can't deal with the fact that there may be something redeeming about somebody who would just look at life through a different prism than they look at it through. And I think the reason why this is, the reason why this attitude proliferates so much is because it is inarguable that more people who are Republican prioritize the Christian faith, the Catholic faith, or some kind of faith in their life. And while I am a Christian, and I believe that that is the actual one true religion that worships the one and only true God of the universe, all religions at some segment of their doctrine have a tolerance for others, a kindness towards others. There's some that don't, but in other parts of their documents and doctrine. But Democrats also have a religion that they worship. It's just secular progressivism, Marxism. It's nothing to do with authentic faith in God. Nothing to do with it. I know you're going to say, oh, no. We're the kind, we're the compassionate. No, sorry. You don't get to pick and choose portions of the Bible you're comfortable with. It's not a buffet where you go by and you say, yeah, I'll have the steak, I'll have the dessert. No salad for me, please. Conflicts with my personal taste. No, this is why. Democrats are also religious. They're just worshiping a false religion.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. President-elect Trump continues to reveal his latest cabinet nominees and appointees for key positions. He's chosen North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum for Interior Secretary. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in line for Health and Human Services Secretary, pending Senate confirmation. And former Georgia Congressman Doug Collins tapped to lead the Department of Veterans Affairs. Though it's been slow going because of the rocky, mountainous terrain and very dry conditions, firefighters making progress, knocking down the Jennings Creek wildfire along the New York-New Jersey border. The trial of illegal alien Jose Ibarra is underway today in Athens, Georgia. He's charged in the brutal killing of 22-year-old nursing student Laken Riley. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 221 points, the NASDAQ off 350 points. More details, srnnews.com.
Our nation's problems have been building for the past 50 years, and they're not going away overnight, which is why we must prepare now for a financial collapse that will affect the entire economy. The good news is there's an easy way to do that. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe everyone should consider a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group to diversify their IRA or 401k. Gold is a proven bedrock in almost every kind of economy. To learn more, get a free info kit from my trusted friends at Birch Gold by texting the word PREPARE to 989898. Don't wait until decades of government irresponsibility comes crashing down on your retirement. Get your free info kit on gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group now. Text PREPARE to the number 989898. That's PREPARE to 9898.
News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer, anywhere you go. With The Answer's mobile app at 989theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, TuneIn, or iHeart.
ProView Remodeling, Ohio's #1 choice in sunroofs, windows, doors, decks, sidings, patios, porches, basements, and bathroom remodels. Call ProView Remodeling today and get 25% off or 60 months, 0 interest. That's right, 60 months, 0 interest. Call or text 7 days a week, 614-756-3140. You win with ProView Remodeling, 614-756-3140. Check us out at proviewremodeling.com.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people, obviously. But what's more, MediShare members like it a lot. Their satisfaction rate is 98%. Imagine that. And MediShare is a proven thing, too, for over 30 years. It's a Christian community, hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing, if you join before November 15th, and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. You save even more right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is November 15th. So call now, you'll save even more. Here's the number, 844-47-BIBLE. That's 844-47-BIBLE, 844-47-BIBLE.
We are the entertainment you love and information that shapes your day. We are your lifeline. We are your companion. We are broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on your local radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
I know you may have your mind on the holidays, but next year you're going to be wishing that you had planned ahead on your vacation plans. So, hey, take note of the fact that on August the 16th through the 23rd, you could join the Salem Media Group's Patriots Alaska cruise. Mike Gallagher, Larry Elder, and other Salem headliners will be on the trip, and you could join them 7 days in Alaska. You'll have the opportunity to hang out with other Patriots, discover Holland America's 5-star hospitality. The food will be fantastic, and of course, they'll have plenty of activities on board for your entertainment and enjoyment. What will you see? Well, you'll see Glacier Bay, all the stunning glaciers and the beautiful mountains. Juneau, the state capital of Alaska. Ketchikan, where the fresh seafood and rich Alaska native culture is very evident. So go to travelwithsalem.com to find out more about the Patriots Alaska cruise. So Donald Trump is headed back to the White House. The first time he was going to go to do what? Drain the swamp, right? That was what we said. He's going to go. He's going to drain the swamp. Did he drain the swamp? Well, obviously not, because the swamp still exists. The swamp has been getting stinkier and stinkier ever since Trump departed. And so now he goes back, armed with 4 years of experience, better equipped with a clearer outlook on how to drain the swamp. And I think that's what his cabinet picks are about. Now, today, he is going to announce another cabinet pick formally, but he kind of sort of dropped a bunch of hints last night that made it very, very apparent who his pick for the Secretary of the Interior is going to be.
We have a big announcement, and I won't tell you the name of his, the exact name. I think he's an incredible person. He's got an unbelievably wonderful wife named Catherine. So I won't tell you his name. Might be something like Burgum. He's from North Dakota. He's going to be announced tomorrow for a very big position. So everybody's waiting. There he is. Hi, Doug. He's going to be announced tomorrow, and we have somebody else that's probably coming up with him to be announced, who's a big one. And we're going to do things with energy and with land, interior, that is going to be incredible. And so I look forward to doing the formal announcement, although this is a pretty big announcement right now. Actually, he's going to head the Department of Interior, and he's going to be fantastic. Good, Doug. Congratulations, Catherine.
So Doug Burgum, governor of North Dakota, will be your Secretary of Interior. He will be fantastic. I don't know if Matt Gaetz will get approved, confirmed as head of the Department of Justice, but it's going to take somebody who's willing to go against the norms and somebody who's going to go in there and crack heads. And I know you've heard all kinds of things about Matt Gaetz, and I don't know what to believe. I honestly don't know what to believe. We had Matt Mayer on the show yesterday. I have deep respect for Matt. Matt seems skeptical. I think Trey Gowdy's a fairly decent straight shooter. Trey Gowdy is skeptical. Gaetz can get approved. But I found this column from Molly Hemingway of The Federalist yesterday, who I think highly of her. And she sort of did a backstory on where does all this innuendo or, disclosure, could be either one, on Matt Gaetz come from? Where did it start that Matt Gaetz is this drug-addled, sleep with underage girls dirtbag? Where did it all start? Okay, so here's one thing I won't dispute about Matt Gaetz. He's a grandstander, okay? He's never met a television camera he doesn't like, and he loves to break things, okay? He broke Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House, which is interesting. In order to get, what kind of guy do you think you're going to need to have to go in and break up the Department of Justice, which Merrick Garland has weaponized against parents at school board meetings, women praying outside abortion clinics. They've ignored the George Floyd riots. They've prosecuted January 6 people. Like, have they practiced equal justice under the law at the Department of Justice? No, of course not. The Hunter Biden laptop. Stall. Okay, we're finally forced to it by the whistleblowers who came forward. So Merrick Garland has been a horrific head of the DOJ. He would have been a disastrous Supreme Court justice. So you're going to need somebody to go in there who can break it all up. But, if Matt Gaetz sleeps with underage girls and if Matt Gaetz is on drugs all the time and all that, okay, well, then he's not the guy. But is he that guy? I don't know. And you don't know. But what you can know, thanks to Molly Hemingway, is where does all this rumor, innuendo, or perhaps fact come from on Matt Gaetz? So you go back to the Russia collusion hoax, pushed by Adam Schiff. Every day, the walls are closing in. It's a bombshell. And Schiff kept saying we got the goods on Trump, and he never had the goods on Trump because there were no goods on Trump. They never had anything to tie Trump to Vladimir Putin or to Russia other than a made-up Hillary Clinton campaign-financed hoax. And they used it to take down Michael Flynn, and they used it to do other things. And guess what? They're using it to either expose or disparage, I don't know which, the line could be blurred between the two, Matt Gaetz. Molly Hemingway writes, Gates was pushing back on Adam Schiff and all the narratives that Schiff was putting forward about Donald Trump being a Russian cat's paw. And Hemingway notes this: a group of New York Times reporters who won awards for their roles in pushing the Russia collusion lie penned an anonymously sourced article with a devastating headline. Listen to how they phrase the headline. Matt Gaetz is said to face Justice Department inquiry over sex with an underage girl. The story was sourced to 3 people briefed on the matter. None of the people were identified in any way. The story contained no evidence against Gaetz of sex crimes, but painted him as guilty by association with someone else. Later in the story, the reporters from the New York Times admitted that no charges had been filed and that, quote, the extent of his criminal exposure is unclear. So this is how they do it in Washington, D.C. We're hearing that Republican we don't like who's exposing Democrat who's lying to you. We're hearing that Republican is being investigated for something. We can't confirm it on the record, but we're hearing it. And then, much like a brush fire in a windstorm, it takes off, becomes an inferno, and then all the qualifications, all the holes in the story get gobbled up and vanish into the ether. Now, as for the other controversial Trump pick in the cabinet, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on Health and Human Services, I've shared with you guys before that I think our food supply has been poisoned intentionally by first companies that were purchased by tobacco companies after they couldn't advertise cigarettes on TV anymore. Seed oils are terrible for you. The food pyramid is a lie. You'd be much better off never eating another grain or never eating sugar or any fake sugars. You'd be much better off. But all these things are greenlit by food companies, and they could not be greenlit by food companies unless they had the blessing of the FDA and in concert the CDC and in concert Health and Human Services, right? Because lobbyists run Washington. Who funds lobbyists? The people who have the most at stake, which means money, to be made off friendly government policies, which is why we have a poisoned food supply. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has pushed back against that, and he makes a lot of good, but he's worth listening to. Now, on vaccines, it's inarguable that when I was a kid, you got a couple of vaccines, less than 5. Now, they want to stick your child with vaccines, more than 70 of them, including some against sexually transmitted diseases, a decade and a half before most kids are even thinking about anything that would put them in peril in that regard. So are there things RFK Jr. is correct on or worth being listened to on? Yes. Here's my objection to him as Health and Human Services Secretary. He is rampantly pro-abortion. Rampantly pro-abortion. And so I would love it if a Republican president did not put forward someone to be Health and Human Services Secretary who is rampantly pro-abortion like Robert F. Kennedy. He comes from the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is rampantly pro-abortion, favors no restrictions on it. RFK has said in this calendar year that he favors no restrictions on it. Now, Megyn Kelly pressed him on it, and he kind of tried to like back off a little bit on it, but we've made the right choice in putting Donald Trump back in the White House. But Donald Trump has waffled, compromised on his commitment to the pro-life movement. And if we just argue passionately for his cabinet picks who are themselves pro-abortion, then I think we have to be very, 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 very careful about taking those positions and not insisting on maybe a better choice.
For this afternoon, the high today 55, partly cloudy tonight, low 43. Periods of clouds and sun for tomorrow, the high 55. Sun and clouds for Sunday, the high at 61. It'll be mild Monday, sun and clouds for the morning, followed by some breaks of sun throughout the afternoon, the high at 62. Cloudy, mild with a couple of showers on Tuesday, high Tuesday afternoon at 64. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Owning a home is a dream come true, but keeping it comfortable? Temperature Pro understands that your HVAC system is the heart of your home's comfort. When it needs attention, you deserve service that's fast, transparent, and reliable. More than just a repair company, they're your home's partner, offering professional service that respects your space and your family. For routine maintenance or an unexpected breakdown, trust Temperature Pro to keep your home running smoothly with no surprises on pricing. Temperature Pro, your comfort is our promise.
When it comes to safety, don't settle for anything less than the best. At Elite Fire Services, we protect what matters most, your business and your peace of mind. Our expert team provides top-notch fire safety inspections, and we service fire extinguishers, fire sprinkler systems, backflow preventers, fire alarms, kitchen hood suppression systems, and exit lighting. Visit elitefire.org today to get a free quote and ensure your fire safety is in elite hands. Because when it comes to protection, you deserve the best. Elite Fire Services, your safety is our mission.
War has played a key role in the history of the United States, from the nation's founding right down to the present. Wars made the United States independent, kept it together, increased its size, and established it as a global superpower. Hi, I'm James Early, host of the Key Battles of American History podcast. In each episode, I discuss American history through the lens of the most important battles of America's wars. To start listening now, go to parthenonpodcast.com or search Key Battles of American History on your favorite podcasting platform.
Look, life takes a toll on our bodies. There's no way around it, whether it's sitting hours on end at the computer, maybe in front of a microphone or a camera, working a physical job. Look, over time, our body pays the price. There is, however, an effective way to turn back the clock on pain. I've been telling you about them for years. Relief Factor. The good news is Relief Factor has a 3-week quick start that's just $19.95. Developed by a team of doctors, Relief Factor helps support your body's response to inflammation. The difference, instead of masking pain, Relief Factor helps eliminate it for good. It's 100% drug-free. Hey, if the pain is that comes with living a full life or affecting you, do what so many others have done. Turn back the clock on pain with Relief Factor. I did it. Their 3-week quick start is just $19.95, less than $1 a day. When you feel good, it's amazing how much more you get out of life. Take it out for a test drive. $19.95. That's the 3-week quick start. Visit relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com, or call 800-4-RELIEF, 800-4-RELIEF. Try it for yourself. Relief Factor.
Our nation's problems have been building for the past 50 years, and they're not going away overnight, which is why we must prepare now for a financial collapse that will affect the entire economy. The good news is there's an easy way to do that. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe everyone should consider a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group to diversify their IRA or 401k. Gold is a proven bedrock in almost every kind of economy. To learn more, get a free info kit from my trusted friends at Birch Gold by texting the word PREPARE to 989898. Don't wait until decades of government irresponsibility comes crashing down on your retirement. Get your free info kit on gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group now. Text PREPARE to the number 989898. That's PREPARE to 989898.
Had a lovely conversation with Ruth yesterday in Sunbury. That was fun. And Paul in Powell is getting his new flooring project completed today. Love to help you if you're looking for new flooring in your home. Holidays are coming up. May still be time to get new carpet, new hardwood flooring. Not hardwood, but better than hardwood. It's called LVP, stands for luxury vinyl plank. It looks like wood. It looks like tile. You might think of it as click-in flooring, but trust me, it is a phenomenal product because it can be installed over your existing hardwood that scratches all the time when you're moving your refrigerator or your stove or even sliding a chair back from the table. Whoops, hard to fix. Won't happen with luxury vinyl plank flooring. And you won't pay more than you will be quoted to pay at a big box store because we do not have high-end retail locations. We just service you with our own installers. So go to brucehooley.com flooring tab, upper right-hand corner, brucehooley.com, flooring tab, upper right-hand corner of the page. So there are many Trump picks that are frosting the left. What I bet really frosts them the most, and will as the Trump administration unfolds, is the work of Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk in the Department of Government Efficiency, because those are not cabinet positions. Musk and Ramaswamy are not going to be paid. And even if they were being paid, they would more than pay for themselves by rooting out government waste. We all know the story, right, of the, what is it, the $1 million toilet or whatever. You know, we have many stories over the years of how much the government has spent on ridiculous things. And here's just a list of things that have been promised or paid during the Biden administration. All of these things I would think would be on the chopping block for the Musk-Ramaswamy Department of Government Efficiency axe. $6 million for the United States Agency for International Development to boost tourism in Egypt. Why do we care about boosting tourism in Egypt? Save $6 million right off the top. $400 million for taxpayer dollars devoted to presidential campaigns. Taxpayer dollars. Do we have a problem? Presidential campaigns? Raising money? Kamala raised $1 billion. What does she need taxpayer money for? Why does Trump need taxpayer money? He doesn't. Taxpayer dollars should not be used for presidential campaigns. $2.6 million in taxpayer dollars to fund a critical race theory program that trains students to promote CRT. Critical race theory. No. Millions to train school teachers in DEI. I think that's working pretty well here in Central Ohio. Sorry, no more money for you. Hundreds of millions of dollars from FEMA for migrants. Nope, not a citizen, no benefits. Tens of millions of dollars spent per year on DEI programs at the Pentagon. Nearly $32 million. This one is like, what? $32 million in COVID funding that went to purchase luxury cars? Huh? Just nuts. $28 million for camouflage uniforms that you can see. I'm sorry. Doesn't a camouflage uniform by its very definition mean it would be a uniform you cannot see? What would be the purpose in $428 million for camouflage uniforms you can see? Excuse me, 28 million, not 428 million. Still a big waste of money. $1 million for the West Harlem Environmental Justice Center. I think we can probably live without that. $50 million via the Environmental Justice Grant to an anti-Israel group. Is Israel our ally? Yes. Why are we giving $50 million in an environmental justice grant to an anti-Israel group? Wait, it gets better. We're giving $3 billion overall for environmental justice grants to groups, many of which are accused of partisanship. Yeah, I bet they are. I bet they're not just accused of it. I bet they're doing it. So here is Musk, long before he was ever named head of the Department of Government Efficiency, being asked about, remember the big Biden administration build out of EV chargers throughout the country? I'm looking right here at an official U.S. Department of Highway, Federal Highway Administration news release from January of 2024. And it says that the bipartisan infrastructure bill will make $2.5 billion in grants available for charging of EV stations, will fund 47 EV charging and alternative fuel projects in 22 states. So 42 EV projects in 22 states and Puerto Rico, by the way. Then I'm looking at a story that says 2 years after Congress, this is like the second time they gave money to this cause, 2 years after Congress allocated $7.5 billion to build EV charging stations throughout the country in 4 states. How many charging stations do you think they built? 7. They built 7 in 4 states with $7.5 billion. This must be a lot more expensive than I think. So Elon Musk was asked about this in an interview before all these numbers came to light, and he already showed us what his perspective would be on how he might wield his axe, saving us money as taxpayers.
Honestly, I would just can this whole bill. Don't pass it. That's my recommendation.
What about the support, though, for the charging network? I mean, there are parts of this bill, and no?
No. Do we need support for gas stations? We don't. There's no need for support for a charging network. I would delete it. Delete.
Okay. All right.
I'm literally saying get rid of all subsidies, also for oil and gas.
Think about also how this affects your competitors.
I mean, maybe they need it. I don't know. I'm in favor of deleting subsidies. I mean, when we started Tesla, there were no EV subsidies at all, and gasoline was super cheap. The $7,500 tax credit came as a result not of Tesla activity, but of General Motors lobbying for it. I would just say delete them all.
There are some other good things in this bill, some would argue. I mean, there's a lot of money earmarked for R&D. Would you want to put that towards something?
No.
Okay. All right. We're going to move on from the bill because I think we get what you're saying on it.
In general, if we don't cut government spending, there's something really bad's going to happen. This is crazy. Our spending is so far in excess of revenue, it's insane.
He's absolutely right. $35 trillion in debt. And at some point in time, you got to start to say no to this stuff. And the other question to ask is, he's essentially asking it when he says, get rid of subsidies. If you have to subsidize something, what does it tell you? It tells you that the free market either A, isn't demanding it, or B, can't sustain it. If there was money to be made in building EV charging stations throughout the United States of America, do you not think somebody with the capital to do it would do it? People generally are not allergic to projects that will make them money and will make them wealthy. The very story of America is what? Build a better mousetrap, right? Elon Musk did. He said, Tesla, we didn't need subsidies. We built a great car. We justified how much more it cost than an electric vehicle by the maintenance that you would save, the lack of fuel that you would have to buy, all other assorted factors. And also, no doubt, it appealed to people's sensibilities, concerns about the environment, whatever, which are individual, should be, hopefully will remain an individual thing, not something crammed down your throat. But when the government says, you can't buy what you're buying now, even though you're happy to buy it because it services your needs, like an internal combustion engine vehicle, you have to buy an electric vehicle. Why would they have to tell you that if the vehicle on its own merits appealed to you such that you on your own, with your freedom of choice and the freedom to spend your dollars on what you wanted, could devote it to purchasing that electric vehicle? He's right. There's absolutely no reason for those kinds of subsidies. And the expenditure, $7.5 billion to build 7 charging stations in 4 states? That's nuts. There is no such thing as government efficiency. There is only government waste. And hopefully Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy will get their arms around it, and we can start to get our arms around our debt issue.
The people that serve part-time in the Ohio Army National Guard, we are your neighbors, co-workers, and friends. We are your sons and daughters, your brothers and sisters. We are the people you see in your community every day. While we serve part-time, we're learning valuable life and job skills that we can use in our civilian careers. We get up to 100% of our tuition paid for at state colleges, so we can have an even better future. We are proud to serve both our country and our home state. Through every storm, every flood, every emergency that hits home here in Ohio, we are ready to respond and help our fellow Ohioans recover. We are every city, every small town, and every community. We are your Ohio Army National Guard. Learn more about part-time service with the Ohio Army National Guard at nationalguard.com/OH. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard, aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
You can find us at 989theanswer.com. Download our apps. Stream us 24/7. WTOH and WTOH HD1, Upper Arlington, Columbus.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. U.S. retail sales rose last month.
Retail purchases increased by 0.4% from September to October, a solid increase, although less than the previous month's robust 0.8% gain. Auto dealers, restaurants, and electronics stores all reported higher sales. Last month's rise in retail purchases suggests that the economy is growing briskly again in the current October to December quarter.
That's correspondent Jeremy House. Since peaking at 9.1% more than 2 years ago, inflation has sunk to near optimal levels, and Americans' take-home pay, on average, has surpassed inflation for about 18 months. Also at townhall.com, President-elect Trump has picked environmental lawyer and vaccine skeptic Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to head the Department of Health and Human Services. Details from Bernie Bennett.
Trump wrote on Truth Social, quote, "For too long, Americans have been crushed by the industrial food complex and drug companies who have engaged in deception, misinformation, and disinformation when it comes to public health." He continued, quote, "Mr. Kennedy will restore these agencies to..."
Hey, really appreciate you guys joining. I don't know if you want to hang around. I suppose you can. I have no problem with that. But I apologize for the long breaks in between content because we're doing a radio show and we're in commercial, and that's just kind of how it works. So, but I think it's nice of you to stick with us. Appreciate it very much.
And was nominating North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum to lead the Department of the Interior. And Mr. Trump has met with the Argentine president at Mar-a-Lago, the first foreign leader to visit with the president-elect. Stocks sharply lower, the Dow dropping 324 points, the NASDAQ down 418. More at townhall.com.
The challenges in this category in front of you?
We reject all three categories of desbalance.
Your motion is to reject or dismiss in this category in front of you?
Correct, yep.
Not going to second that, mostly because I think we all know that precedent by a court doesn't matter anymore in this country, and people violate laws anytime they want. So for me, if I violate this law, it's because I want a court to pay attention to it.
We reject all three categories of desbalance.
Your motion is to reject or dismiss the
new weekend program here on your radio station called Capital Ministries Weekend. Listen along as we discuss the crossroads between the Bible and politics on a timely basis.
Listen to Capital Ministries Weekend, Sunday mornings at 7:30 on 98.9 FM The Answer.
With SRN Sports, I'm Jason Walker. Squad Barkley rushed for 146 yards and 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns. Philadelphia Eagles stretching their lead in the NFC East with a 26-18 win over Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. Jalen Hurts ran for the go-ahead touchdown for Philadelphia after he was evaluated for a concussion. That followed a hard hit in the second quarter, but he was cleared to go back. Wow. He finished with 221 yards passing. Elsewhere, the Kansas City Chiefs now are reportedly putting star kicker Harrison Butker on the injured reserve list with a knee injury. He is slated to miss at least 4 weeks. Coming up Sunday will be the showdown in Buffalo. Kansas City 9-0. The Bills are 8-2. This is SRN Sports. Only one game in the National Basketball Association last night. Utah just got past Dallas. Final was 115-113. In the National Hockey League, your winners include the Islanders, Seattle, Dallas, Minnesota, Buffalo. Also winning, Philadelphia, New Jersey, Tampa Bay, and the New York Rangers. Meanwhile, Connor McDavid has become the 4th fastest NHL player to reach 1,000 points. He did that in the second period of the Edmonton Oilers' 3-2 overtime victory over Nashville. The 27-year-old McDavid reaching the milestone in game number 659. Wayne Gretzky the fastest at 4:24, followed by Mario Lemieux at 5:13 and Mike Bossy at 6:56. This is SRN Sports.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Welcome in. Final hour of the week of Bruce Hooley shows. Although, if you want another hour of myself and Josh Pick, you can join us tonight for the Aptus Retirement Blueprint Radio Show. It will air at 6 p.m. and we will re-air it on Saturday at noon. Your chance to get smarter and more savvy in your retirement investing. Josh joins me every Monday for Money Monday, and then we have a full hour on Friday. So looking forward to that. One of the things that I've always found odd in my former professional life, many of you know, was a sports reporter. And sports reporting requires you to go to games. Games go late into the night, and you have to write or edit the story or whatever, and you're there into the wee hours of the morning. And then I would notice that once every couple of years, or maybe even every year, there would be one night during the year where the news side of the particular news organization that I was working for would they would bring in food, and they would take off during the day, take naps, get ready for the one night of the year that the election returns would roll in, and they would have to pull an all-nighter, and it would be like, you know, marshaling the forces to conquer this one thing that those of us in the sports department were able to do 48 or 50 weeks a year. Now, I say that because in the aftermath of the presidential election, some of the most searingly insightful commentary the Democrats could pay attention to, if they only would, comes from a couple of guys who are in the sports commentary business. One of them is the well-known, I'm not a fan particularly of his work, but I do think that he has more courage than a lot of people on his side of the aisle. One of them is Stephen A. Smith, who here in this signature rant goes after Oprah Winfrey and other celebrity endorsers who backed Kamala Harris and exaggerated the positions or the stakes of the 2024 presidential election.
All these celebrities, Jennifer Lopez, Beyonce, Oprah.
If we don't show up tomorrow, it is entirely possible that we will not have the opportunity to ever cast a ballot again.
You're going to look an audience in the face and you're going to tell them that if you vote for Donald Trump, you may not ever be able to cast a vote again. Who believed that?
Nobody.
Who believed that coming from Oprah? Truly, who believed that? This is the kind of stuff that alienates an electorate, that alienates a vote or a voter. Because the freedom that you tell them they have, you try to confiscate morally by letting them know you ain't worth a damn unless you vote the way we say you should vote. Who's going to go for that in a general election with an economy rife with inflation, with over 12 million people coming across the borders, with people wondering about their dollars, the dollars that they earn, the dollars that they have in their pocket, the value of that dollar dissipating before our very eyes, but in the same breath, you're telling them that you got to take even more money out of their pocket to finance immigrants that come all across the border illegally at the behest of the Democratic Party,
looking to secure a voting bloc. Did you think that would work?
Yeah, they did. They did think that would work. It didn't, of course, as is reinforced by another sports commentator, the inimitable Charles Barkley.
He's the president of the United States, and I wish him nothing but the best. But we lost. And I just want to say this to the Democrats, which I'm an independent who voted Democratic. Do me this favor. Shut the up. When you win, you get to say what you want to. When you lose, you need to shut the hell up. Oh, President Biden they didn't get him out the race soon enough. Kamala didn't do this. We lost because we had no game plan. We still haven't solved the immigration problem, have no viable answers, never addressed inflation, bringing all these stupid stars out to rally the vote. What was that? Hey, I love Beyonce. What's bringing her out? That ain't gonna make me vote a certain way. Cardi B, I like Cardi B. That ain't gonna make me vote a certain type of way. You guys lost because y'all stupid.
That's pretty insightful. Y'all lost because y'all stupid. Yes, indeed. And the ratings reflected. MSNBC ratings. Joy Reid down 54.6%. Ari Melber down 49%. Chris Hayes 47%. Alex Wagner 54%. Morning Joe 40%. He's the star over there. Stephanie Rule. Remember Stephanie Rule's interview with Kamala Harris? Pre-interview. What got her the interview was when she said, she doesn't have to come out and answer any questions. That's how she got the interview. And then she essentially asked her, pretty benign questions. Kamala still whiffed on the interview. Stephanie Rule's ratings at MSNBC are down 67%. And it's not like they started way up high. Andrea Mitchell. Man, Andrea Mitchell. Is she like 85? Her ratings are down 40%. Andrea Mitchell's ratings, which, this might explain it. She had Tennessee Senator Bill Hagerty on her What Passes for show. And she was questioning him about whether he would support the nomination of Matt Gaetz as Trump's attorney general.
So what is your reaction to Matt Gaetz as attorney general? Right now, would you support him?
Listen, Andrea, it's amazing to me that people are reacting the way they are, what you just showed, because there has been no one better at channeling the American public's frustration with the weaponization of the Department of Justice than Matt Gaetz. You can understand the president's frustration with the DOJ. During his campaign, during his first campaign, they used a fake Clinton dossier to spy on him. Look at what happened in the first Trump administration. This whole fake Russiagate hoax, the DOJ investigated him for years doing that. In 2020, the DOJ went to big tech and had them censor Hunter Biden's laptop to throw the election toward Joe Biden. And if you think about what just happened in 2024, the DOJ, their colleagues around the country, they brought 5 different cases to try President Biden's top opponent, President Trump. I can understand his frustration in wanting to put an agent of change in place. I'm not surprised at all.
Well, I don't want to litigate all that happened with Donald Trump because there's a lot of
yes, you do.
Many of the allegations, and in fact, the indictments, Mar-a-Lago, the sloppy intelligence handling.
And I think the American public spoke louder than anybody. They gave him the strongest mandate we've seen in 36 years in reaction to all of this.
But a Trump-appointed judge cut all of that off, and it wasn't fully vetted. So let's just talk about that. Was the legal system at work, no question. And
it was not working. It was weaponized.
Gee, I wonder why her ratings are down 40%. Because she insists on these inane Democratic talking points rather than looking at things objectively. And people have had it with this. But she still had more for Senator Hagerty.
Well, what about this nominee?
As I said, this nominee has actually been an
has a
outspoken
record
critic.
himself. He's been an outspoken critic, but what about his personal record? There are questions about him. He was on the House floor sharing photos of women, bragging about his sexual exploits, about the medication that he used.
Not proven.
That he used. His
makes a good story though.
Investigation has not been released yet. It's been cut off. It was supposed to be voted on tomorrow, but his resignation has aborted that. But what about all of the questions?
Oh, what about
the allegations against
allegations? Notice.
Conspirator and his friend.
And his friend,
11-year
not Gates, but his friend
for the sex trafficking. I mean, there was plenty to investigate.
Oh, plenty.
Andrea, you said it yourself. These are allegations. It's amazing that you're more upset about allegations than you are about the weaponization of the Department of Justice. The American public has completely lost faith in the DOJ. Think about it. The DOJ sending their agents to spy on parents who go to, the school board meetings. It's just amazing as the American public has seen all of this. They see somebody like Matt Gaetz who's willing to stand up and call it wrong, and President Trump's willing to put somebody in place that will change all of this. That's what the American public voted for.
Ah, but now Andrea Mitchell's got him. She's got him in a vice because Andrea Mitchell has the irrefutable comeback as to why the Justice Department is not weaponized.
This is the same Justice Department that indicted and prosecuted Hunter Biden.
Oh, it's the same Justice Department. It's the same Justice Department that prosecuted and indicted Hunter Biden. Oh, really? It is? Yeah, I guess it is. After how much hand-wringing and delay and attempts, including a crooked plea deal that the judge had to ferret out. This, Senator Haggerty, is the same Justice Department that indicted and prosecuted Hunter Biden. Yes. And you're saying, why didn't Haggerty fire back and say, wait a second? The way they did that ended up giving Joe Biden his only term in the White House. He did. I just ran out of time to play it, and you already know it, right? But this is why MSNBC's ratings are down.
Rather cloudy skies for this afternoon. The high today 55. Partly cloudy tonight, low 43. Periods of clouds and sun for tomorrow, the high 55. Sunny clouds for Sunday, the high at 61. It'll be mild Monday, sunny clouds for the morning, followed by some breaks of sun throughout the afternoon, the high at 62. Cloudy, mild with a couple of showers on Tuesday, high Tuesday afternoon at 64. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
From Angel Studios comes Bonhoeffer, based on the powerful true story of Dietrich Bonhoeffer. As the Nazis tighten their grip on Germany, Bonhoeffer joins a deadly plot to assassinate Hitler, risking his faith and fate to save millions of Jews from genocide. You will go to England as a spy.
I'm ready to meet my destiny.
Bonhoeffer, rated PG-13, may be inappropriate for children under 13. Exclusively in theaters November 22nd. Go to angel.com/Bonhoeffer.
I don't really like working. I'm gonna need a priority parking space. I only work remotely. How are your safe spaces? Can I bring my dog to work? Will your company protect me against microaggressions? You're triggering me. Is this interview almost over?
You don't run a daycare, you run a business. That's why you need RedBalloon.org. Red Balloon has recruiters and hiring tools to help you hire adults. Call 833-880-0600 for a free consultation. That's 833-880-0600 for a free consultation.
Planning for retirement is no small task. If you don't know where to start, join Rodney Peters of Peters Wealth Group every Saturday at 10 and 2 for Retire Ready Ohio. Rodney shares helpful tips and strategies that just might change the course of your retirement. Listen every Saturday at 10 and 2, Retire Ready Ohio, with Rodney Peters of Peters Wealth Group. The firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services are offered through Peters Wealth Group, a state-registered investment advisor.
War has played a key role in the history of the United States, from the nation's founding right down to the present. Wars made the United States independent, kept it together, increased its size, and established it as a global superpower. Hi, I'm James Early, host of the Key Battles of American History podcast. In each episode, I discuss American history through the lens of the most important battles in the America's war. Start listening now. Go to ParthenonPodcast.com or search Key Battles of American History on your favorite podcasting platform.
Feel like you're trying to push a boulder uphill wearing skates? If you run or manage a local business today, you're challenged like never before. We get it, and we want to help. We're Salem Surround. We're a full-service marketing agency that'll help you increase your customer base by designing incredibly effective plans to reach your consumers day, night, and everywhere they might be.
If you're a local business and want to see what Salem Surround can do for you, Google Salem Surround Columbus. Remember to Google Salem Surround Columbus today.
Dinesh D'Souza here. Have you heard about my new movie? It's called Vindicating Trump, and it's based on my book of the same name. This book is a deep dive into the real reasons why the left and the Democrats hate Donald Trump so much. They call him a tyrannical dictator. But in reality, it's the American government's authoritarian regime that's afraid that Trump will dethrone them once again. Trump, as a charismatic leader, knows how to mobilize the people. He gets things done, and they don't like it. That's why they're doing everything they can to stop him, using lawsuits, indictments, even assassination attempts on his life. Vindicating Trump reveals Donald Trump as the one man who can stand up to the tyranny of the left. And that's precisely why we need his leadership now more than ever. Don't miss my no-holds-barred defense of Trump in Vindicating Trump. You can watch it now or buy the DVD. Go to salemnow.com. That's salemnow.com.
Well, we talk a lot about inflation and about how difficult it is in the Biden economy, and I have the belief that things will get better under Donald Trump. But right now, you got a mortgage payment or a rent payment, and boy, if somebody could take that off your plate for 2025, wouldn't that be fantastic? Maybe it could happen if you go to 9890answer.com and enter every single day between now and December 22nd. You might win or be the grand prize winner in the 7th annual Christmas Mortgage Miracle Sweepstakes. That's right. We will foot the bill for up to $18,000 in mortgage payments or rent payments in 2025 if you are the winner. You can enter, as I said, once per day. You can even enter multiple times a day if you complete optional bonus entry possibilities. So do it, 9890answer.com. And hey, while you're there, double up. Register to win a pair of tickets to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra at Nationwide Arena on December the 26th. It all happens at 9890answer.com. This is the time we set aside for a segment we call Today in Crazy. Always we can go to California. Always we can go to Illinois. Once in a while, just once in a very great while, are we treated to the unique interrogative techniques of Louisiana Senator John Kennedy. John Kennedy, who was interviewing a federal judicial nominee named Mustafa Kasabi in Washington this week. Now, Tom Cotton, the Arkansas senator, was sitting next to John Kennedy as Kennedy was interviewing this judge. And Cotton, who's a pretty stone-faced guy, Tom Cotton could not keep a straight face. He was laughing while Kennedy was interviewing the judge, which now I will give you the same chance to do.
Judge Kasabi, I'm looking at an order you issued as a magistrate judge here requiring the use of pronouns in your court. Do you require the use of pronouns, the declaration of one's pronouns in your court?
Senator, that may be referring to perhaps a trial management order or a scheduling order of some kind.
Yeah. No, it's a statement. You issued it. Here it is.
Stuttering.
It's an invitation for people to identify their pronouns and or their honorifics.
Well, I'm looking at your requirement that you issued to all people in your court. You say, quote, when you introduce yourself in a meeting, you should say, my name is Judge Blank and my pronouns are blank. Is that right?
Senator, those were not requirements or rules. Those were suggestions and
suggestions.
Those were suggestions and invitations for people to use.
And you also, in your directive, you say, quote, I'd like counsel to introduce themselves, giving your full name and your honorific, such as Ms. and Ms. period, Mix, or Mr., not Mrs. And if your client will be making an appearance, I ask you to please introduce them to the court by giving me their full name and their honorific, such as Ms. and Ms. period, Mix, or Mr.
There you go. John Kennedy, who in his own understated way never ceases to point out the lunacy on the left, demonstrated in Today in Crazy headline number 2 by the FEMA memo that we've told you about earlier this week, where a supervisor from FEMA, Marnie Washington, texted to FEMA people working in Florida that they should avoid houses displaying Trump signs. Now, she has since gone on several podcasts and done several television interviews where she says that the reason why she told people to avoid Trump houses, and in other words, make it more difficult for them to get FEMA aid in the aftermath of Hurricane Milton or Hurricane Helene, was because it was a safety issue, because Trump people are mean and nasty, and obviously, according to Joe Biden, garbage. Marnie Washington here likens Trump voters to something else.
And someone feels uncomfortable, we can't go to that home. If you have loose dogs and someone on the team is comfortable with dogs and another person is not, we can't go to that home because of safety precautions.
So you feared the Trump houses. The people on FEMA were fearing the Trump houses like they were fearing people with vicious dogs in their backyard.
Exactly. And
Exactly.
and that's based on the trends.
Based on the trends, you're not just garbage, you're vicious dogs. Is that what she's saying there? Seems to be pretty close to what she's saying. It'll be interesting when Deanne Criswell, the head of FEMA, appears before House Oversight next week. I can't wait to hear her explanation for why FEMA did this. She will, of course, say it was an exception and not directed from the top. Who do you believe? Do you believe the supervisor who says that everybody at the top of FEMA knew this, everybody at the top of FEMA encouraged this, or do you believe the CYA effort on the part of Deanne Criswell? Now, there's no uncertainty about what Antony Blinken, the Secretary of State, means. In Today in Crazy headline number 3, we have said, as Biden transitions out of the White House and Trump transitions in, there is all manner of effort going forward, including with the judge with the pronoun requirement, to get as much done that Donald Trump will attempt to undo before the transition takes place when Trump is inaugurated on January the 20th. One of the things that the Biden administration wants to do, as Antony Blinken makes clear here in Today in Crazy headline number 3, is that they want to give as much money as they possibly can to who? To the American taxpayer struggling to buy food, groceries? No, they have other priorities for every free dollar.
As we're working to make sure that Ukraine has what it needs to effectively defend itself, the United States continues to step up. We've obligated just recently and pushed out the door another $8 billion in security assistance for Ukraine.
Nice.
That was in September. Another almost $500 million just a few weeks ago. And President Biden is committed to making sure that every dollar we have at our disposal will be pushed out the door between now and January 20th.
Doing the math, that's $8.5 billion. $8.5 billion more to Ukraine. Trump can't get in there fast enough. Now we have a new update to the list of stores and retail businesses that have somehow managed to miss the magic of the Biden economy. How many of these have we told you about locally, nationally? Locally, Raisin Rack ceasing operations today. Their store on Schrock Road closing. I'd head out there if you think you might be able to find a bargain, but Raisin Rack has been all over town over the years. Probably undone some by online businesses rather, and other copycat businesses and other competing businesses like Aldi has a lot of that kind of stuff that Raisin Rack had. But they've been everywhere they're closing. And also nationally and locally, both. Advance Auto Parts in trouble. They're going to close more than 500 stores by the middle of next year. 523 corporate stores and 204 independent locations. They have 200 Advance Auto Parts stores in Ohio, including 19 in Columbus. This is a shocker because I've been reliably informed by Kamala Harris that Bidenomics is working. Not working for Big Lots, not working for Bed Bath & Beyond, not working for Advance Auto Parts, CVS, Walgreens, Buca di Beppo, Raisin Rack, many, many others, which, you know, is crazy.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Americans stepped up their spending at retailers last month in the latest sign that healthy consumer spending is driving the economy's steady growth. Retail sales rose 0.4% from September to October. That's a solid increase, though less than the previous month's robust 0.8% gain. 1.6% jump in sales at auto dealers drove much of the gain. President-elect Donald Trump keeping busy. He will nominate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to serve as Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services. Mr. Trump also announced that he's chosen Doug Collins, a former congressman from Georgia, to run the Department of Veterans Affairs, and was nominating...
Caller said Raisin Rack closed yesterday. So that's Friday, the story I looked at. I'm sure they did close yesterday at some point.
Down 427. This is Inside.
Our nation's problems have been building for the past 50 years, and they're not going away overnight, which is why we must prepare now for a financial collapse that will affect the entire economy. The good news is there's an easy way to do that. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe everyone should consider a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group to diversify their IRA or 401k. Gold is a proven bedrock in almost every kind of economy. To learn more, get a free info kit from my trusted friends at Birch Gold by texting the word PREPARE to 989898. Don't wait until decades of government irresponsibility comes crashing down on your retirement. Get your free info kit on gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group now. Text PREPARE to the number 989898. That's PREPARE to 9898.
News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer, anywhere you go. The Answer's mobile app at 98.9theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, TuneIn, or iHeart.
When it comes to safety, don't settle for anything less than the best. At Elite Fire Services, we protect what matters most, your business and your peace of mind. Our expert team provides top-notch fire safety inspections, and we service fire extinguishers, fire sprinkler systems, backflow preventers, fire alarms, kitchen hood suppression systems, and exit lighting. Visit elitefire.org today to get a free quote and ensure your fire safety is in elite hands. Because when it comes to protection, you deserve the best. Elite Fire Services, your safety is our mission.
Millions have made Sing Trans-Siberian Orchestra live, a part of their Christmas tradition. This winter, TSA celebrates their 20th anniversary of The Lost Christmas Eve. See his all-new show with a high-energy second set featuring the group's greatest hits and fan favorites. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Thursday, December 26th at 3 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. at Nationwide Arena. Win tickets today at 989theanswer.com. That's 989theanswer.com. The Christmas Mortgage Miracle is back. For 7 years, 989 and the Christmas Mortgage Miracle has made it possible to win next year's mortgage every this year. The grand prize is $18,000. Complete your opportunity to win by entering up those votes per day and complete optional bonus tests for even more chances to win. Receive this blessing for 2025 with the Christmas Mortgage Miracle Sweepstakes. Enter to win today at 989theanswer.com. That's 989theanswer.com.
Because truth is not a left-wing value, and the left lies as easy as operation. Clarity and wisdom. Dennis Prager, every weekday from 12 to 3 on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
Consistently moving and
PatriotSwitch.com products are fantastic products. Good for you, good for your family. Why are they good for your family? Well, because they're botanical products. They are made from plants and plant extracts. So you're not putting any toxins in your body. A lot of people who have cancer or who have skin issues, you might find that just changing your laundry detergent could make a big difference in those mysterious rashes that you can't seem to get under control with the help of your dermatologist. But PatriotSwitch.com products afford you the opportunity to become a member of a private shopping club. You pay a membership fee, which is at various times $1 for the year. Sometimes never more, well, it's never more than $19. So That affords you a 35 to 50% discount. And Patriot Switch, you say, well, yeah, but who makes their products? They do. They make them, all 450 of them. Nothing is outsourced, nothing in Mexico, nothing from China. If striking a blow against woke capitalism and getting great stuff for your family at competitive prices appeals to you, then go check it out at Bruce Hooley, my personal patriotswitch.com page, patriotswitch.com/Bruce. That's patriotswitch.com/Bruce. Now, Donald Trump has no doubt appointed some people to his cabinet who are controversial. And it seems as if almost every single day we get a pick that is more controversial than the day before. Like when he named Pete Hegseth as his Secretary of Defense, the left wigged out. Oh, a Fox and Friends morning host, not even a Fox and Friends Monday through Friday host, but a weekend host. Pete Hegseth, come on. He's not qualified. What a clown car this is, the Trump cabinet. And we found out Pete Hegseth has headed 2 veterans organizations. He's written 5 books. He's got 2 Ivy League degrees. He's got 2 Bronze Stars. He's got 20 years in the military. He's written literally the book on what's wrong with our military in his current book, The War on Warriors. So Pete Hegseth seemed to be less of a controversial pick. The next day, when Matt Gaetz was announced as Trump's attorney general. Matt Gaetz is a wrecking ball. Matt Gaetz is a star when it comes to being adversarial against Democratic witnesses who appear on Capitol Hill. Matt Gaetz may have, I stress the word may have some skeletons in his closet, or those skeletons may be the creation of a concerted effort by Democratic journalists, but I repeat myself, to smear him and to take away his voice. So we will see. Then Tulsi Gabbard was appointed Director of National Intelligence. Tulsi Gabbard, you mean Tulsi Gabbard, who Hillary Clinton said was a Russian plant, a Russian agent, putting her in charge of national intelligence? Well, that would prove that Donald Trump is a Russian agent himself, would it not? So the Democrats are wigging out about Tulsi Gabbard, and now some of them are also similarly stressed about Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s appointment as Health and Human Services Secretary, because he says a lot of things that Democrats hate, which first and foremost begins with his questioning of the COVID vaccines and the necessity to take the COVID vaccines and to take them in great numbers, as they kept telling us, yeah, that one didn't do everything we said it would do, but the next one will. Just one more booster ought to do it. Now, neither you nor I wants Donald Trump's second administration to be held up by long, contentious Senate hearings. And there is a way around that. It is called recess appointments, which is basically like getting a secretary of the cabinet approved without a formal vote in the Senate. You say, well, wouldn't that play into the fact that the Democrats were right about Donald Trump being a dictator on day one? Not necessarily, because the question is, would Donald Trump be doing something that no one has ever done before? Answer no. Bill Clinton used recess appointments 139 times. You can use it for judges, you can use it for appointees, you can use it for cabinet secretaries. George W. Bush made 171 recess appointments, getting frustrated when some of his judges got hung up and stalled in the Senate, so he just appointed them anyway with recess appointments. And even the sainted savior of the Democratic Party, Barack Obama, made 32 recess appointments before a Supreme Court decision in 2014 intervened and stopped him from doing even more. So this would not be something new, and it is something that I thought Rick Scott, the guy who Donald Trump wanted to be the Senate Majority Leader, would definitely do if Rick Scott gained that distinction. But Rick Scott did not. He fell out on the first round of nominations. John Cornyn of Texas, John Thune of, I believe Thune is from South Dakota, ended up being the guys who contested that position, and Thune won it. Here's Thune last night on Bret Baier talking about recess appointments and whether Thune, who is understudied Mitch McConnell, who's a master of procedures and processes in the Senate to work to Republicans' advantage. Here is Thune on whether he is open to recess appointments from Donald Trump.
So you've said that you would do recess appointments if it came to that. What's the threshold for getting to that point for recess appointments?
Well, what I said is, Brad, and I think this is that all options are on the table, including recess appointments. Hopefully it doesn't get to that, but we'll find out fairly quickly whether the Democrats want to play ball or not. And I think part of it is getting these folks. We'll start having confirmation hearings as soon as the new Senate is sworn in January. President takes the oath of office January 20th. By the time you take the oath of office, hopefully a lot of those nominees will be through their confirmation hearings and will be ready to act on them on the Senate floor. And then it's a question of how much do the Democrats resist or object or try to block those nominations from going forward. And we're going to grind them out. I mean, we're just going to keep consistently moving, and we'll see what kind of cooperation we get. And then we'll, like I said, we'll make decisions about where do we go from there.
Now, there are senators who a lot of people think are going to be hesitant to confirm people like Matt Gaetz and Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. But here's the thing. Trump has a mandate. He doesn't have a phony mandate like Biden had. He has a real mandate. He has strong support from people who want to see his America First agenda implemented. And if you're a Susan Collins or you're a Lisa Murkowski or even a Lindsey Graham or even a John Thune, do you want to go to war with Donald Trump over his cabinet appointments? I don't think you do. And I think you can put up a good protest fight right now about, oh, Matt Gaetz is unfit. How unfit is Matt Gaetz? Well, he might do some really crazy things. You mean crazy things like this?
And will put the Department of Justice of the United States back in the business of justice. We will double the Civil Rights Division and direct law enforcement to counter this extremism. We will hold social media platforms accountable for the hate infiltrating their platforms, because they have a responsibility to help fight against this threat to our democracy. And if you profit off of hate, if you act as a megaphone for misinformation or cyber warfare, if you don't police your platforms, we are going to hold you accountable as a community.
That didn't sound like Matt Gaetz. You know who that sounded like? That sounded like the Democratic nominee for president, and it sure sounded like her saying that she wanted to severely restrict, if not eliminate, the First Amendment. Okay? So save your pearl clutching over Matt Gaetz and the demolition that he would do to the Department of Justice. Maybe it needs to be demolished. Maybe given all the lawfare against Donald Trump, maybe it's time people take a good hard look at why there's selective prosecution in the Justice Department. And if you find somebody who's a Washington insider, somebody who plays by, quote unquote, the rules, I think that's less apt to happen. Because here's a Washington insider speaking in the first year of the Trump administration with Nicole Wallace of MSNBC. You might remember this guy, James Comey. Here he is outlining how he was able to send FBI agents over to the Trump White House in the first term of Donald Trump to entrap Michael Flynn and prosecute him.
You look at this White House now, and it's hard to imagine 2 FBI agents ending up in the sit room. How did that happen?
I sent them. Something I probably wouldn't have done or maybe gotten away with in a more organized investigation, a more organized administration, in the George W. Bush administration, for example, or the Obama administration. In both of those administrations, there was process. And so if the FBI wanted to send agents into the White House itself to interview a senior official, you would work through the White House counsel, and there'd be discussions and approvals, and who would be there. And I thought, it's early enough, let's just send a couple guys over.
And he did, and they entrapped Flynn, and they started working against the Trump administration, the same kind of resistance that Democratic governors, Kathy Hochul, J.B. Pritzker, Gavin Newsom, have announced they're going to do now. The difference is, this time, Donald Trump's election to the White House is not a surprise to Donald Trump and to those around him. Sure, they put up a good front the first time, but I don't think they really thought they would win. And they certainly were not as versed on the insider corruption of Washington, D.C. This time they go in eyes wide open, and they have a definite idea who they want to help them clean up the mess.
Skies for this afternoon, the high today 55, partly cloudy tonight, low 43. Periods of clouds and sun for tomorrow, the high 55. Sunny clouds for Sunday, the high at 61. It'll be mild Monday, sunny clouds for the morning, followed by some breaks of sun throughout the afternoon, the high at 62. Cloudy, mild with a couple of showers on Tuesday, high Tuesday afternoon at 64. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Everybody to continue to pressure the press. I wonder if he doesn't sue the press for slander, because he's fully vaxxed, his family's fully vaxxed, he has no vaccine denialism. He wants vaccines subjected to the same scientific rigor as all the other medication people like me are allowed by the FDA to bring to market. So we could use these things. As it is an entirely different operation.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra headed to Nationwide Arena on December the 26th. It is called the Lost Christmas Eve Tour, and you don't want to miss it. If you've been watching any conservative news channels lately, you've probably seen snippets of what TSO has in store for you the day after Christmas. Pyrotechnics, lasers, multiple tiered stages. It's really an amazing show, and this is, in this particular rendition of TSO's typical Christmas national tour, called The Lost Christmas Eve Tour, a story of loss and redemption that encompasses a rundown hotel, an old toy store, a blues bar, a Gothic cathedral, and how all the inhabitants are intertwined on a single Christmas Eve in New York City. We have 10 pairs of tickets to give away to this show at Nationwide on December the 26th. You enter and win at 9890answer.com. That's 9890answer.com. In its ideal form, a college is a place where competing ideas are aired, debated, and embraced on the basis of merit. That is, of course, not what our educational system has become, particularly our public education system, although I have instances of private schools that are not doing a great job on that either. Some of them are, some of them are not. Here's what I would say. To all of you parents, to all of you grandparents, be invested. Be heavily invested. Commit yourself to being invested on a daily basis. I'm not kidding. On a daily basis in what your child is studying and what their assignments are. Look at the books. Look at the class materials that they bring home. I had an instance today where I was interacting with someone about an issue in a local school. And something that came to light was something very concerning regarding a very inappropriate topic, not a sexually explicit topic, but it was an inappropriate topic for that particular level of class, that particular grade level. And it really had nothing to do with education, much like the memo from the Olentangy Orange high school principal, who's now on administrative leave, Monica Asher, because she sent this memo out that was politically charged in direct violation of school policy. She outed herself, but if something is being taught in your child's class, you're not going to know about it unless there's, as it was in this case that I'm talking about with a friend of mine today, a random statement of frustration by the student. I don't know how to answer this question. I don't understand this question. And the parent like, well, what's the question? And they were like, wait a minute, what is that question? Doing in your study material. If you're not invested on a daily basis, asking your child, don't just, how was class today? Because you know what you're going to get back. Good, fine, okay, boring. You're going to get a one-word answer, right? You've got to press the issue. You got to press, what are you studying? Let me see what you're studying. Let me see what your assignment is. Let me take a look at your test. Let me take a look at your take-home materials. You've got to be invested. They've won this battle in education. They won it all the way up through the university level. And as proof of that, story today in the Dispatch about what the state legislature, our General Assembly in the state of Ohio, is mandating for 5 schools in Ohio, which is aimed at driving intellectual diversity centers where they're going to be studying some of the founding documents of our country. Maybe when you went to school, this was called civics, right? And this is where we learn that the U.S. Senate has 100 representatives, the House of Representatives 435, and that each state gets House of Representatives representation based upon population, and every state gets 2 senators, and we have all these things that you and I learned in school: equal protection under the law, checks and balances, 3 separate but co-equal branches of government, all those things we learned. Kids aren't learning that anymore. And so our state legislature stepped in and they established this at 5 schools in the state of Ohio, Intellectual Diversity Center. Ohio State is one of the places where this is going to happen. And as you might expect, there's pushback on this from faculty and from students. And they have questions and they're skeptical and, oh, it came from a Republican legislature, so it can't possibly be anything but racist, sexist, this phobic, that phobic. Well, what is this endeavor designed to teach? Here's a direct quote. It's designed to teach and research historical ideas, traditions, and texts that have shaped the American constitutional order and society. Is that nefarious? No. I would argue it is necessary. How long will we have the country we have if we don't understand its origins and we don't understand its foundations. Many people have given their lives to defend these principles. And we have kids who don't have a clue about their sacrifice or about why they were willing to make that sacrifice, so that the rest of us could continue to inherit, and to hopefully build on and defend those exact principles. But at a place, Ohio State, other colleges, I'm sure, public schools, these are controversial. These are, politically charged. No, they're not. They're necessary for the continuation of the kind of country that we have had, and the kind of country that in this last presidential election became very clear, a clear majority of Americans want to continue to have. So be invested in your child's education. You're paying for it. You're paying for it with your tax dollars. Go to school board meetings. Be involved. I get it. We trusted a lot of our institutions for a very long time. And we found out. We can't trust them. We can't trust the media. We can't trust much of academia. We can't trust the entertainment industry. And so when people lose trust, what do? You watch them closer. So that's what I'm advocating for you to do. Watch them closer. Now, here's an interesting conversation that took place on CNN about Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s appointment as Health and Human Services Secretary. It points up this whole skepticism that's out there, and the reason why we need to be skeptical of the voices that try to shape our opinions.
If we're being intellectually honest, there's really no good reason why Bobby Kennedy's qualification should be HHS secretary. An advisor, a confidant, somebody who talks to people. But there's no managerial experience in this record. There's nothing that says he's qualified to do this job. This job is all these different things. He has views and has insights around food sources, around vaccines, and those should be given an advisory role. Why? Well, because they only qualifications with the previous one. Well, I think it's important to always remember that you put yourself. So they don't have a management qualification. I mean, Xavier Becerra. I'm not talking about Xavier. I was talking about looking forward.
No, of course you're not.
Whether we can actually do this job, and I think absolutely, I think it's important to discuss it because Xavier Becerra was just a lawyer and a politician with no management experience. So there's two negatives. Sylvia Burwell was a Walmart lobbyist. Donna Shalala was a university person. Look, RFK Jr. is a nut. Okay, so that's different than what you just said. You just said he doesn't possess the requisite managerial experience, but then we get to the real issue here, which is you want to insult them, which is your right to do because you oppose them in the election.
100%, right? Oh, Robert F. Kennedy doesn't have the requisite managerial experience. That's my problem with him. My problem with him is he doesn't have the requisite managerial experience. Well, what about the guy who he would replace, Xavier Becerra? He didn't have it either. Well, I'm not here to talk about him. No, of course you're not, because the rules you don't want to apply to him because they would disqualify him for the same reason. And then your real objection is not fact-based, feelings-based. Well, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is a nut. He's a nut? Can you define that, please? What do you mean by he's a nut? So this is how the other side pushes back. It's usually feelings-based or rooted in nothing more than shallow, utter personal preference and nonsense. So this permeates our schools, it permeates our institutions, and you've got to be on top of policing it. All right, that'll do it for the weekend. I got one more hour of show to do. It's a financial show. Look for it at 989theanswer.com. It's called the Aptus Retirement Blueprint Radio Show. If you're looking for an awesome financial advisor on how to grow your investments, he's mine, and he's tremendous. His name is Josh Pick. He's a great guy. You'd love him. 614-917-1040 is their office number. Make your appointment for your free, no obligation consultation. I'm in the middle of a very busy day, and I've loved spending the last 2 hours of it with you. So hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you back here on Monday. Have a good one.